tonight. We hope you're being strengthened and blessed in the things of the Lord. We're going to try to share with you several facts and some things that might help you understand the time that we're in and understand this. Both in the biblical arena and outside of the Bible, say in the media, in the government, or wherever, you will find people who likes to take events and hype them up and add things to them that really don't exist. And in so doing, it causes panic in people. Now, things can be bad, and things are bad, and things can be pointing in a particular direction that is bad enough itself. But to become out of balance and to see the need to turn every event and every character involved into some kind of a world dictator conspiring to overthrow the entire world, well, we get a little confused. What we want to do is we want to balance. We do not have to make the Bible more interesting than it is. We don't have to make world events worse or better than they are in order to get more hits on YouTube. We need to simply rationalize, be logical, and look at what the Bible tells us, and look at what common sense, which is rooted in spirituality, is showing us. Now, the first thing that I want to deal with tonight is precedented and unprecedented events. The Bible tells us in the book of Matthew, where Jesus was answering a question that the disciples had asked, and basically it came down to this: what would be the signs of the end of the world, the Bible said, but the passage of Scripture there found in Matthew, the word world is translated from the Greek word that means age. They was asking what will be the end of the age, this dispensation of grace, the church age. What will be the end, the signs of the end of the age? And the Bible tells us in Matthew 24 that Jesus answered them. And He gave us a long list of events that would be part of the signs. Here's what He says in Matthew chapter 24, beginning with verse 4. It said, "And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. Ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." The Lord is telling us here and in other places throughout the Bible of events that would happen, always telling us, let your hearts not be troubled. Here He's telling us that there's going to be wars. He goes on through the chapter telling us there'll be famines and there'll be pestilence, there will be earthquakes in divers places and all types of events taking place. He tells us that this is not the end. Why? Because these are not unprecedented events. There has always been earthquakes. As time goes on, as the earth gets more and more populated and more things are done, there will be more earthquakes. There has always been famine. That's not an unprecedented event, and it is a part of a natural progression. You get more people in the world, and the famines will become more, and more people involved. There's not new wars. There's always, ever since the Garden of Eden, there's been wars fought. That's not an unprecedented event. Not even world wars are unprecedented events. We've had 2 of them. Every time there is a blood moon, a red moon, which has happened many times in history. But there are these prophecy teachers that comes out talking about the blood moon is coming up and that means the end of the world, and they take you to some horn-blowing deal in the Jewish land and of the Old Testament proving that this blood moon marks the sign. You don't have to do that. One of the things that is so frustrating is it's not only among the deceived and the deceivers outside of the church that sows this hyped up mess, but it is we that's inside the church that does it. So let's look at a few things here tonight. Number 1, precedented events. We see them. Precedents already set. Wars, famines, pestilence, so forth and so on. What we want to pay attention to is when something truly happens that is unprecedented. Because when something happened that is unprecedented, then a pattern is being set by what's happening now that's never happened before so that it can be used again in similar situations. That's the definition of precedence. So the question is now with this virus, is it as bad as we're being told? It's hard to believe it. Now I want to share with you the numbers right quick. The numbers worldwide is 1,970,000. Please remember, that is worldwide. 1,700,000. Remember, last year the flu in America alone had 37 million, just in America. The flu in America, that killed people, and a lot of them, 34,000 people. The flu killed last year in America. 37 million had it. 1,700,000 now has this virus worldwide. That means just in America alone, last year, the flu outnumbered the cases worldwide 37 times. Okay? Now somebody says, but we've taken precautions for this. We've done this. Yes. And in doing this, listen what's happened. With the flu last year, we did not test 500,000 people a day. We didn't test 250,000 people a day. We didn't test 100,000 people a day. The 37 million that had the flu last year was people who went to the hospital and was diagnosed with it. Had we tested 500,000 people a day last year for the flu, I would easily tell you the flu would have infected 75 million people. Had you tested 200, 300, 500,000 people every day during the course of it, there was people who had the flu just like this, that never went to the doctor, that just got over it. The numbers would have doubled. So when we're looking at the numbers here in America today, and that number is 611,000 in America today, and that's with 50,000, 200,000, 250,000 people being tested every day, we've got the number up to 611,000 now. Still far less than the 37 million that had it in America last year, the flu. Now the numbers of death seems to be a little higher than the numbers of the last year's flu. But again, we was not attributing every death of every person, counting every person that died, that may have had it but didn't die from it. There's many statistical reports that's coming out now that's saying they have, like they've done everything else, now is a proven fact, overshot the number of deaths. If every time somebody goes in and may have just gotten this virus and they die from a heart attack or die from something else or just die from old age, they're saying they attribute it straight to the virus. The numbers are hyped up. There is no question about that. The numbers has not added up from the beginning, and the numbers do not add up right now. What is the problem here? Well, there are those that's beginning to turn on and question within the religious community Mr. Trump. They are using words like he's involved in the New World Order. He's involved with the banksters is the word that they use. They're all in this together. Well, once again, let's use just a little bit of logic and just a little bit of reasoning. Number one, Mr. Trump, he's made angry the world order people, for he has been deemed worldwide by George Soros and the Democrats themselves as being a threat to the world order. What do you think they're talking about when they're talking about the world order? They're talking about the world order. And Trump is a threat to it, so he can't be of it if he's a threat to it. When Trump is undoing everything that took our jobs, took our manufacturers, took our wealth and took our money, gave it to China and all the other places around the world, when he's undoing that, he can't be of it. I mean, 1 + 1 still equals 2. If Trump was plotting to force us into a world order, plotting to tear down America's Constitution, do you honestly believe he would have waited until just 7 months before his re-election to tear the world up? That's nonsense. If Trump was going to tear the world up, destroy the Constitution, and take us into a world order, he would have played the game that he's been playing according to these people. Got all of our votes, ushered into office, can't be voted out the next time, and then did what he wanted to do. If Mr. Trump was trying to tear the world down, tear America up, take it into a new world order, he blame sure wouldn't be doing it 7 months before his re-election. He would get re-elected and then do it. He would continue his deception until he got re-elected. The third thing is, if Mr. Trump was behind this global effort to destroy America and bring it into a world order, then why would Mr. Trump be doing something that only benefits those that hate him? And those that hate him are the builders of the world order, are the ones that transferred the wealth of the United States to the rest of the world. They are the ones that hate him. If Trump was plotting to destroy the Constitution in the world and take us into a world order, why is it then that he's the only one being hurt? It's only his re-election that's being targeted. He can't go out and speak anymore. There can't be crowds. They don't want him on television each day giving us updates. They've even went to the FCC to try to stop Fox News and other news organizations from carrying it. They don't want the man to be heard from. Nobody is benefiting from this but those that hate him. Why then would Mr. Trump, attempting to bring in a world order and destroy the United States and be the great deceiver, why in the world would he now be promoting, lifting up those that hate him? And those that hate him are those that created and built the world order, along with the rhino Republicans. Remember, Jesus made it clear to us these events was going to take place. These events would happen, but they would not be unprecedented. But the end is not yet, Jesus said. Now we are in an unprecedented situation, but logic, common sense, reasoning expels Mr. Trump from any part of this pandemic. For it is his economy destroyed, his hopes of re-election being destroyed, his ability to communicate with America through his rallies being destroyed. It's not logical. It makes no sense. What does make sense is this. As I brought to your attention before, you have a world power, China, releases a virus, lies about it. One of the main doctors that was exposing it in China winded up dead. If you've done any studying whatsoever into communist countries and communist regimes, that ain't no unprecedented event. That is, for someone to tell what you're doing and then you wind up dead. Doctors in China that was coming out against it was put in jail, and the one major whistleblower about it, where it came from, winded up dead. Now this starts making some sense. China has been gutted by Mr. Trump. That means he's not interested in a world order. He's gutting China. And if Mr. Trump is re-elected and China has to suffer through Trump 4 more years, they will comply and do what Trump wants done, or either they will be driven back into the Stone Age. They want him gone, and a virus comes from China. Then the media and the Democrat Party gets what they have wished for. what they have stated numerous times over and over and over, that the economy must be destroyed if we hope to get Trump out of office. So now the economy is destroyed. You got China and you've got a Democrat. Now this makes all the sense in the world. It makes a whole lot more sense than Trump is deceiving everybody, bringing us into a world order, destroying his re-election, destroying his economy. That is nonsense. And a person is not thinking 1 inch past their nose that would come to that conclusion. This is all about something called, well, the deep state. You've heard of the deep state. The Lord Jesus in the Bible revealed to us that it would be world government being established. Well, that is what's been going on as far back as you can think. But namely that of the Bushes. It was Daddy Bush, the first Bush president, who made it absolutely clear to us, we will have this new world order.
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
You don't get any clearer than that. Then it was through his son, Bush Jr., that all this mess continued. He'd done some good things, but still in lockstep with this world order everybody thinks we need. Then it was the Clintons. Oh, not in order. I'm just giving you the names of them. Then it was Obama. And the only one that has kicked against it now has been Donald Trump, taking us out of the agreements that put us in it. There is a thing called the deep state. All of these actors, and namely 8 years of Barack Obama, filled the intelligence community, filled the law offices, filled the courts with what they call deep staters. No question about this. This ain't something we're looking for in prophecy. This is hanging fruit on the tree. And we've seen this deep state secretly trying to destroy and even overtly trying to destroy Donald Trump. As a world government is being established, that world government is the home of the biblical Antichrist that will follow these precedented events, these events that's taken place before that Jesus warned us of, and then telling us the end is not yet. But then he proceeds on and tells us what takes place during the tribulation, and that the greatest trouble the world has ever known, because there will be a full-blown attempt to, by force, establish this world order. Right now, they've been trying to establish it piecemeal, where you don't even know it's happening until it's finally done. Trump has come and shined the light on it. We know it's taking place. We know we were closer to it than we've ever been before. And these deep staters are here, and we know it. But there's another word that you're not hearing, and that is not just a deep state, but a deep world. You see, the states, the nations, plural, of the world, is conspiring against Christianity, Psalms 2, to bring in a world order. Why Christianity? Believe it or not, we are the ones that exposes darkness. And there is nothing darker than the world order that's coming to be. It is the Antichrist, referred to biblically as the kingdom of darkness. That's why it cannot come until the kingdom of light, the church, the house of the living God, is removed. The only way darkness can come in is for light to leave. And that's why the church has got to go. This is a war against the church. And we're finding now that problems are being clearly manifested, true and real problems that we should be focused on instead of all this nonsense. And what is it? It's unprecedented events that now can be used in the future for like events to take place. That's the definition of precedent. Now, next fall, there's going to be another flu season. And like last year, there'll be 30 million, 37 million. But we've done all of this with, at present date, 611,000. Now, what are we going to do? Say a Democrat actually wins, and this bunch gets control. Say Trump dies from some kind of a flu-like virus or a bullet. Let's say these one-worlders, these Democrats, these rhino Republicans, but mainly these Democrats, let's say they take office. Let's say they're in power the next flu season. And now we're showing numbers on the television. There's 6 million affected. Well, right now there's only 611,000. But next year we show there's 10 million affected, 25 million affected. Precedent has been set to do what? Shut down the entire United States. State grab the businesses, bankrupt everything that's here, put us on welfare, because that's exactly what it will be. And in a matter of months, this country will be Venezuela all over again. Make no mistake about it. A precedent is being set. There are evil things that's taking place that we should be focused on right now, but you're not hearing anything about it. That again shows you it's where we really should be focused. You see, there are churches all across the United States right now being attacked by law enforcement. Strange thing is each and every one of these states where the church is being fined. We're not talking about gathering inside of a building. We're talking about for being in their cars in a parking lot, which is completely compliant with the orders given. $500 a piece they were fined in Greenville, Mississippi for sitting in their cars in a parking lot. Just last week, I've been informed that a note was put on my church, of which we hadn't had services in 3 weeks. A note put on my church door from the Lauderdale County Sheriff's Department commanding me to lock my door, my church door. They have no authority to do this. But what you will find is every one of these places that is now attacking the church, going to the church, fining the churches, is run by Democratic governors and Democratic mayors. And when they get the numbers up into the 30 millions like the last flu season was, and then compare it to what they had to do with 611,000 this time, they've got everything that they've wanted, precedent set, and now they can do it. Lock the doors of the church. Now, understand this, and I got just a minute left. We're not having church and hadn't had it in 3 weeks. I'm putting my sermons up on YouTube. I'm doing that because, number one, there's a slim possibility I could be wrong. I don't want to endanger the lives of my church members. I'm willing to wait. I'm willing to comply for a season until it becomes painfully obvious. The numbers with the flu ain't becoming painfully obvious to me. Telling me to lock my door, fining people for being in the parking lot of a church, that's starting to make it crystal clear. Now listen, I like people to listen to me when we have church. I like your attention. And anything that moves around when I'm preaching distracts me. If we had church services right now, do you realize that the first person that sneezed, there would be a mass exodus toward the door? It's just best to do what I'm doing right now, I believe. Somebody says, yeah, but liquor stores are still open and the church is closed. Now, think about it, brother. One person, two persons can go into a liquor store and be 20 feet apart. If you're in a church, you're sitting shoulder to shoulder with someone. And like I said, a cough or a sneeze from any of them, and you ain't listening to me no more. You see what I'm saying? So it's okay to do what we're doing. Beer joints are closed because like a church, you're shoulder to shoulder. So it makes sense that we be cautious. Nothing wrong with that. could be wrong. Virus could be more deadly. We don't want to risk the lives of the elderly that's in our church. All of that's understandable. But what is the red light flashing? The red light flashing is you have shut down America. You are putting us all on welfare. You are killing this country. And case in point number one, you are locking the doors and shutting down the house of God. That's a danger sign that we're looking real close at. Because where I'm willing to comply with orders and rules, when there's reason and logic behind it, I am also willing to die to keep my church door unlocked. Now, Mr. President, I would say this to you. I think that if you want to keep the vote of already a trouble that's brewing inside the church community concerning this business, Mr. President, you need to come out and you need to make it absolutely clear and say it with absolute force to every governor and every mayor across this entire United States. You need to tell them, Mr. President, leave the church alone.
My master's hand and joined the Christian band. Now I'm on the battlefield for my Lord. I left my home and kindred, bound for the promised land. Near the grace of God upon me, and my Bible in my hand. In distant lands I've trod, crying, sinner, come to God. Yeah, I'm on the battle